Hey, I'm Jesse Hunt with Unofficial. We're a web design and digital marketing agency located in downtown Memphis. Since 2002, I've been helping Mid-South businesses just like yours improve their websites and find more customers on the internet. Today, I'm going to perform a video website audit on your website that'll show you some areas for improvement that might be hurting your business. The entire audit will take 15 to 20 minutes and should leave you substantially more informed about what's working and what's not working so well on your website. I hope you'll find the audit informative and that you'll keep me in mind if you ever need some help working on your existing website or building a new one. Thanks a lot for watching. Let's get started.
Hey Stanley, so here we are on the homepage of your website, www.srtgroup.biz. And well, first let me say sorry it took me a couple days to get this proposal put together for you. I've been down sick for a couple days and started taking some antibiotics yesterday. It's amazing how much better I feel today, so really thankful for that. But at any rate, what I want to do here, I want to take a few minutes and click through the various pages on your website, give you some feedback about what I'm seeing here on the site and things where I think there might be some room for improvement here on the website. Then we'll click through, we'll look at a few things that Google tells us about your website. We'll look at a few Google search results. Then we'll come back to your website and look at a few tools that I've got installed here on my computer to get a better understanding of what's happening behind the scenes on your website. So I'll try to keep it brief. The whole thing should probably take us 20 minutes or so. When I first land on your website here, my first impression is just that it looks very busy. Busy and maybe a little bit dated, but definitely busy. When I land on the site, my eye's just not sure where to go. I see, the picture up here at the top, and then it says Industrial Demolition Disassembly. I don't even see your name anywhere on here. I mean, I see it here on what I assume is the homepage button, but your business name is kind of absent here. So first critique I would say is we should probably have your logo or something like that in the header, so that one of the first things you see when you land on the website is the business name, so that we start to create some brand awareness when someone lands on your website. Beyond that, I see that you've got a phone number here, but it's fairly small and it's kind of right alongside all this other text, so it tends to blend in a little bit. I would say the things that we want to really make sure that we see in the header, we want to see your logo so that we can see what your brand name is real quick, and we also want to see your logo so that it's nice and easy. I'm sorry, not your logo, your phone number, so that it's nice and easy for people to get in touch with you whenever they're ready to do that. The next thing I would say that we want to see is this navigation that you've got here: SRT group, about SRT, services, project references, safety, and then contact. These, again, because there's so much going on, these kind of blend in. They just look like more text. So I think we need to make sure that the navigation to be able to maneuver around the website is really big and obvious, and that it doesn't blend in, so that when somebody wants to look at your services or they want to go look at your references, that they can find that really fast without having to look around too much. People on the internet are impatient, and let's make things as easy as we can for them, right? So from there, as I scroll down, you do have a lot of text on the homepage, which is a good thing. Google likes a lot of text. From a search engine standpoint, it's definitely a good thing to have lots of text. So I think that's good. I like that you've got lots of pictures. They're fairly small though, so one recommendation, this picture right here, I can't really tell what this picture is. It looks like maybe some kind of demolition site and there's some tractors or something. I'd like to see your pictures bigger and easier to see, so that it's more obvious what it is you're trying to tell people through those pictures. Beyond that, on the home page, I do see your phone number, as we talked about it, right here and again right here. But as I scroll down, there's no other contact information anywhere on the home page other than your phone number. There's no address information. I'd really like to see a contact form on every page of your website, some kind of, I don't know if it's maybe a request a quote or something, but make it as easy as possible for people to get in touch with you whenever they're ready to do business. Don't make them click any further than they have to. And so by putting a request a quote form or a get in touch form or something like that on the homepage makes it really easy for people to shoot you an email whenever they're ready to get in touch. I'll talk more about your physical address in a minute. As I mentioned, though, it's not here on the homepage at all. So I'm going to click through some of these other pages about SRT. All right, so this page, again, I like that you've got pictures. Again, it might be better if they were a little bit bigger, maybe a big picture, and you could click an arrow to scroll through them or something like that. I think you probably need some more text on this page from a Google standpoint. Having more text will help you get better search engine rankings. Let's see, in the news. Yeah, without reading all that, that looks pretty good. Services. So on your services page, I think I would probably recommend breaking these different services down into individual sub pages. So I'd maybe have a services page with a drop-down menu and then do a page for each one of these major service categories. So maybe a page for factory equipment demolition and disassembly, a page for conveyor system demolition and disassembly, a page for pallet racking demolition and disassembly. By doing that, you're able to get really specific with the keywords that we optimize you for in the Google results, and can really improve the likelihood that you can show up for those keywords whenever somebody's searching for them on Google. So creating subpages for each of those and then having more text about each one of them will help you a lot in terms of search engine rankings, specifically Google rankings, but really if you get your optimization right for Google, then all the other search engines will send you traffic too. Sorry about that phone. I meant to put it out of the room before I started the video. I apologize. Project references. I think this is okay. We might want to maybe expand on this a little bit or something. I'd want to talk to you more about this page before I get into too many suggestions here. But if you could get a statement from a decision maker at each of these companies or something, so it just shows kind of a recommendation from them, that might be a good thing. Then again, that might not even be a possibility. I'm not sure if that's something you can obtain or not. Safety, I think your amount of text on this page is pretty good. I would probably recommend breaking this down with some headers that kind of hit the highlights of, people like to skim text. People don't want to read a great big block of paragraphs like this. So the paragraphs are important from a search engine standpoint and also from providing enough information to your visitors. But I would recommend having kind of some headings above each of the main points just to make it where people can scroll down, find the section that's really relevant for what they're wanting to see, and then then go straight to that. In saying that, I haven't read every word of this text, so I'm not certain that headings are appropriate here, but they usually are, so I think that's probably a good recommendation. Contact SRT. All right, so here's your contact information. We talked a little bit earlier about your physical address, so good to see that here, your phone number, your fax number, your email address. I think all of that's good. I think this is a good contact page. I'd probably recommend including a contact form on this page. So if somebody wants to get in touch with you by email, they can just fill in a form and click submit. Those tend to get more contacts than just having an email address like this. So that could improve the number of leads that you get through your website, I think. But let's talk about your address real quick. So when Google's evaluating whether to send, particularly in local search results, so if somebody's looking for somebody here local, so they're looking for somebody in Southaven, or they're looking for somebody in Memphis to help do industrial demolition or help do conveyor assembly demolition. Google looks at something, the acronym in my industry is called NAP, N-A-P, NAP. It stands for name, address, and phone number. And Google wants to see that you've got your name, address, and phone number on all the pages of your website, and that it's very consistent with what Google has in their database and also with what other websites have listed across the internet. So the more consistent you can get your name, address, and phone number on all those sources, the better off you are in terms of local search engine results. So as I look at yours here, I'm going to click over here to a different tab real quick where I've already done a search. So what I searched is SRT Group Memphis. I was hoping to make Google pull up a local result for you, which they did over here on the right. And then I just wanted to compare how those results look. So the first thing we see here, Google Local has you listed, has your business name as SRT Group Demolition and Disassembly. So if we come back over here to your website, you've got SRT Group Inc. So that's an inconsistency. And while that doesn't seem like a very big deal, it can be a very big deal to Google. So I would recommend either modifying your Google local listing to make it say SRT Group Inc. to match your website, or modify it on the website to make it say SRT Group Demolition and Disassembly. Either one's acceptable, but you want it to be consistent across the internet. It'll improve your Google local results substantially, I think. Beyond that, 1535 Nottingham Drive, Southaven 38671. Oops, wrong tab. Here we have 1535 Nottingham Drive, Southaven 38671, so that's good. One inconsistency that I see is here you've got drive spelled out D-R-I-V-E. Here it's D-R. Again, seems really small. I think Google's probably smart enough to figure that one out, but I would recommend fixing it because everything you can do to remove inconsistencies is going to help you in your local search results. Phone number looks to be consistent, so I think that's good. I would just recommend trying to improve your consistency of that name, address, and phone number, and then make sure that you have all of that information on every single page of your website. So you can put it down here in the footer or something like that on every page of your website, and that'll help you with your search results. All right, so I'm going to close that up. Next, I'm going to come back over here. I've got this tab open. This is a tool that Google provides to website developers. It's called a mobile-friendly test, and basically it scans your website and checks to see if the website is mobile-friendly. So does it work perfectly on mobile devices, iPhones, iPads, Android devices, etc. Google wants to see that websites are mobile friendly because a substantial portion of visitors on the internet these days are using mobile devices. So Google wants to know that if they send you visitors that are using a mobile device, that you're going to provide them with a great experience. Back in May of 2015, Google actually announced that they were going to begin showing preference to websites that are mobile friendly. So by having a website that's not mobile friendly, it can actually hurt you in the search engine results and cost you to get less traffic. As you can see here, Google says your website is not mobile friendly. It says your text is too small to read, your mobile viewport's not set, which basically means your website doesn't properly define the size that it needs to display at whenever people are looking at it on a mobile device. It says your links are too close together. In other words, it's too easy to accidentally hit the wrong button when you're trying to navigate around the website on a mobile device, and uses incompatible plugins. I'm not exactly sure what they're talking about there, but I'm guessing that you've probably got some Flash or something on the website. Flash isn't compatible with most mobile devices, so I could dig into your code a little bit and figure out exactly what they're referring to here, but at first glance, that would be my guess. I would definitely recommend making your website mobile friendly, obviously for search engine reasons, but also just because so many people are using mobile devices these days that you want to provide them with an ideal experience whenever they come to your website. The websites that I'm managing, I'm seeing anywhere from 30% of the visitors to 90% of the visitors using mobile devices, just depending on the industry and the niche. So it's a pretty substantial amount of traffic. It's definitely worth taking seriously and making your website mobile friendly. Next up here, I did a few Google searches. So what I tried to do is put myself in the shoes of somebody that might be looking for your services and said, okay, if I was looking for these services, what would I type into Google to try to find them? I tried to keep this general and not geographically specific. I noticed on your website that you say you do these services coast to coast. So rather than adding in Memphis, local keywords, if we added Memphis to these keywords, it'd be a whole lot easier to make you show up than without it. But I think you're targeting a bigger audience, so I wanted to try to assess how you're doing on that front nationwide. Now, I will say, Google does assess the location of where somebody's searching from. So Google can tell that I'm in Memphis, and so that could improve the likelihood that you would show up in my search results instead of somebody in California. There's not a whole lot that we can do about that. But let's look through here and see what we see. So here I search factory equipment demolition. As you can see, Sims, mm.com shows up in the number 1 spot. Here, this appears to be another competitor in the number 2 spot. Here is services page of SRT Group. So interestingly, this looks like this is you showing up. But if you look at the website address, it's www.demolitiondisassembly.com. Which is different than the website address that I've been looking at, which is www.srtgroup.biz. When I click on it, though, let's click on that, and I open it in another tab. So this opens up the services page, and then I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to go to your services page. And when I compare them, this is exactly the same website, but if you look here, we're at www.srtgroup.biz/services, and over here, we're at www.demolitiondisassembly.com/services. That's really a problem. Google doesn't like it when you have duplicate websites or you have duplicate content on the internet. I would highly recommend that you narrow this down to just one of those 2 addresses. And then just redirect the other one to the whichever one you decide to make primary. I can certainly help you with that if you need to. But Google does devalue duplicate content or duplicate websites. So I think you're shooting yourself in the foot by having 2 versions of the exact same website. And I think you can improve your search engine rankings by narrowing that down to just one of the 2. That being said, in this particular search, you are showing up in the number 3 spot there for this one. Who knows, if you were to narrow it down and only have one domain so the 2 didn't compete with each other, this one might be even higher in the search results. And certainly with a little bit of work, I think it could be pushed up by implementing some of the other changes that I've recommended here. So there is some opportunity there for sure. Next up here, I searched conveyor system demolition. Interestingly here, the first result that showed up is a YouTube video. I will say YouTube videos are one of the hottest ways to do search engine optimization right now. I can rank a YouTube video more easily than I can a website in the search results. So that may be something, if you want to get aggressive with search engines and want to pull in more traffic and more leads from the internet, we might want to have a discussion about creating YouTube videos and optimizing them for your keywords that promote your business so that we can push your video to the top of the search results, knock these folks down, and get you more leads from these particular search results. So here we're looking at conveyor system demolition. And as we scroll down, looks like you've got some competitors here. I see Cardinal Conveyor here. I actually built this website. Interestingly, conveyor system demolition wasn't really a keyword that we optimized for, so this is almost an accidental listing here. They do offer that service, I think, but really not a keyword that we focused on for them. And then down here, you're in the last position on Google in the non-paid results. These listings down here below you are advertisements, so people pay to be there. So you're in the number 10 spot here in the organic search engine results. I definitely think there's an opportunity with some intentional optimization to put your website higher on this page. And that's definitely something I can help you with if that's something you'd like to talk about. Next up, I did pallet racking disassembly. Again, we're seeing 2 YouTube videos here, so I think there's a huge opportunity there with some video marketing. I'd love to chat with you about that sometime. Actually, it looks like 3 videos showing up in the top 10 results, so that's really good. As I scroll down, I don't see your website at all on the first page here for pallet racking disassembly. There are lots of other keywords that we could search for, and I'd love to chat with you sometime about what keywords are most important to you and what keywords you most want to show up for, or what keywords would drive the best prospects and customers to your website. And then we can do a better assessment of what needs to be done to make you show up for them. But long story short, based on the things I've seen so far, I definitely think that you've got some options that could improve your search engine rankings. They just need to be pursued. So let's chat about that sometime if you'd like. And then I come back over here to your website. A couple more things I want to look at, and I'll wrap this up for you. So if we go back to your home page, I've got this little utility installed here. This is called a Google Tag Assistant. It scans the code of your website looking for Google tags. Specifically, I was hoping to find one called Google Analytics, and it is installed. So I'm curious to know, do you know that you have Google Analytics installed? If so, do you look at the information that's provided by that Google Analytics data? And if so, what are your thoughts? Google Analytics, in case you're unaware of Google Analytics and what it does, Google Analytics tracks how many visitors come to your website, what they look at while they're there, where did they come from? So did they come from the Better Business Bureau or from an industry website or from Facebook or Google or whatever? And then what did they do while they were on your site? Did they land on the homepage and immediately leave? Or did they click through and read about your services and then ultimately go to your Contact Us page to get in touch with you? Google Analytics is really good at helping to track your return on investment from the website, help you determine whether or not your website is performing as a good marketing tool for your business. So if you're not monitoring those Google Analytics results, I would encourage you to get access to them and review them. And if you don't understand all the data in that report, give me a call. I'd be glad to walk you through the report sometime and explain the important stuff that you need to be looking at. But it's really good data to be able to better understand how your website's performing for you. One last thing I want to look at here, I've got this little tool installed on my browser. This is called SEO Quake, and this is their page SEO audit, so page search engine optimization audit. Basically, this scans through the code of your website and gives us a real quick rundown on what's been done to optimize your website for the search engines, and then displays it in a nice, pretty format, so it makes it easy for me to be able to describe to you here. I'm just going to skim through this and hit the highlights, but the first thing I look at is the title tag. If we come back over here to your website, if you look right up here at the top of the browser in these tabs where it says SRT Group, that's where your browser displays a title tag. Now, if we come over here and do a Google search real quick, if we do SRT Group Memphis, and we look right here, so in the Google results, this link at the top of your listing is your title tag. This is where Google puts your title tag. Now, we want to see keywords in your title tags because Google looks at a title tag and says, okay, if they put the keyword in that title tag, that's a really good indication that that's what this website's about, and we should be sending them traffic about that. So we should really be optimizing each of your title tags, each page on your website with a different title tag that includes keywords that your perfect prospective customers might type into Google in order to find you. That's going to help you to get more traffic to your website. Obviously, more traffic equals more leads, and more leads equals more sales, and that equals more return on investment. So definitely want to optimize your title tags better. We want more than just your business name there. Next up here, meta description. So if we come back over here to this Google result we talked about, this is your title tag. Obviously, this below it is your website address. And then there's some description below that describes what your website's about. Now, when there's a meta description that's available, and if it's good, if it's the right length and Google likes it, this is where they display a meta description tag. Now, if we come back over here, your meta description is really long. It's 416 characters long. They say shorten it to 200 characters. I think I typically shoot for 175 characters whenever I'm optimizing for a meta description, so you definitely need to shorten it in order to get Google to actually use that meta description. Meta descriptions aren't going to improve your search engine rankings necessarily, but what they do is they give you the ability to put a really compelling description of your website in the search results. So if you put something really compelling in the meta description, that can mean the difference between somebody clicking and coming to your website and becoming your customer versus going to your competitor's website and becoming a customer of theirs. So definitely want to have good meta descriptions. Meta keywords don't really matter. Google doesn't look at those anymore. Headings, I talked about headings earlier, having headings above different text sections and things that make the divisions in your website more obvious and make it more obvious about what the different sections of text are about. Your website doesn't make use of any headings at this point. I would definitely recommend adding headings and trying to write them smartly so that they include your keywords. By including keywords and heading tags, you greatly increase the likelihood that you'll show up for those keywords in the search engine. So this is all stuff I'd be glad to sit down and chat with you about and can definitely help you with all this optimization and making sure that your website pulls as much traffic as possible from Google. I'm going to skim past some of this that I don't think is real important. Robots.txt, your website doesn't have that. Basically, that tells search engines which pages on your website they're allowed to look at and which ones they're not. If you're going to go through and implement the other things that I've talked about here so far, I would recommend adding that as well. It says you do have a sitemap file for the search engine, so that's definitely good. Your website does not specify a language, so you should really just have a little bit of code in the website that tells Google and the other search engines that your website's in English. And then you're missing a couple other things down here. Micro formats, which has to do with telling Google the proper name, address, and phone number information and helping them identify where it's at on the web page. And then finally a favicon, which is just a little icon that appears up here in the browser. I don't necessarily agree with them that affects your search engine optimization necessarily, but it does look nice and it makes it easy to find your website when there's a whole bunch of tabs open. So it's easy to add. I'd recommend adding it. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up right there, Stanley. I think I've gone a little longer than I intended to here, but I hope you found the information that I provided here useful and that it's helpful to you. My goal is to become a resource to you. Ultimately, I want to earn your trust and become your go-to website guy. So if you need some help implementing the changes that I've talked about here, if you want to improve your website, redesign it, make it look more current, and make it perform as better as a marketing tool for your business, I'm your guy. I would absolutely love to talk to you about that. So thanks a lot for watching the video. I'm going to package this up and shoot it over to you here in an email in just a bit, and then I'll follow up with you in the next few days just to make sure that you got it, see if you have any questions, see if there's anything that I can help you with. So thanks a lot for taking the time to watch. I look forward to talking to you real soon. Bye-bye.